Let's talk about one source of protein that's of interest to mostly children, but of course adults also have not been left out of it, especially back home here in Nigeria. Talking about eggs, do you know that the price of eggs has increased about 17% this year only? Perhaps I don't even need to tell you. I'm sure you're already feeling it, especially when you have the children and you have to ensure that they do have a source of protein in their diet every single time. Let's talk about this and much more. And we know that the Ramadan is just around the corner, so more demand might mean more increase in the price, but I don't know. Well, let's talk to Miriam Ode now. Miriam is an analyst with financial derivatives company. Hi, Miriam. Good afternoon. What's happening to the eggs? I know that last year, poultry farmers said they lost about 3 trillion naira. Are the losses extended to 2024 yet?
Good afternoon, Ini. Thank you for your question. So, in relation to the price of eggs, egg prices have actually gone up, like you said, to about 3,500 naira for a crate of egg. And this is mainly because of the Ramadan season that is fast approaching, like you mentioned, because we know that about 50% of the Nigerian population are Muslim. So the increase in demand as they stock up for the season and for the fast will definitely affect the price of eggs and cause them to rise. But then there's still some hoarding factor that is playing into the price of eggs, because most poultry farmers know that, yes, during Ramadan season, the price of eggs skyrockets. And so they are trying to keep some of the supply of eggs limited, so that when the Ramadan season approaches, then they can make more profit since egg prices will be higher. And then we're talking about the losses from the previous year. I remember that in May 2023, there were about 20 million unsold crates of eggs, which is a whole lot of loss for the poultry industry. And we're still experiencing egg glut currently. So definitely these losses will still translate into, from 2023, will still translate into losses for 2024.
So I'm just surprised, because we've spoken to poultry farmers a lot of times. They told us how they've had to bury eggs and things like that. In spite of this, there are reports that Nigeria still imports eggs of about $8 billion. Maybe it's not a true report, is it?
It's possible that Nigeria still imports eggs, because there's this belief that foreign eggs actually last longer, which may or may not be true. But then there's also the fact that poultry farmers are actually suffering from being able to store their eggs so that it would be able to reach the market and still be fresh. So that's one factor, and even that's another factor that is causing the egg glut. So it's not necessarily that demand is not enough to meet up with the supply, or poultry farmers are supplying more than enough, but it's mostly that there are inadequate storage facilities for these eggs, which cause them to spoil faster. And then there's high transportation costs. So farmers are trying to incorporate or trying to run off the loss or the higher cost of transporting these eggs from the farm gates to the consumers. And this is factoring into the price of eggs also. And we've even already started seeing that the demand for eggs is already declining due to this, because consumers are price sensitive to eggs. And this is discouraging most poultry farmers from actually continuing or sustaining production levels. So we're seeing that Nigeria still has to import some of these eggs to meet up with the demand, because I know recently I read a report that said that Kano farmers have 85% of poultry farmers in Kano State have actually shut down due to the unattractiveness of the market. And so if we're seeing that domestic supply is reducing, especially in Kano State, then obviously the country would have to import eggs to meet the domestic demand.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, because that also adds to the pressure on the naira, as more FX is needed for that. But thank you so much, Miriam Ode, analyst with financial derivatives company.
Thank you for having me.